Hello, my name is Mike Hedrick, and I want to talk to you today about a topic, self-discipline, which I just think is extremely important. And the reason for that is I think self-discipline is the X factor that separates people from either being successful or from being not successful. I believe that from my life. I believe that from the life of my mentors. I believe that from the people that I've studied. If you can have self-discipline, you have a chance to reach whatever goal you want, pretty much. So I think it's one of the most important topics we could ever discuss, and I'm so happy to get a chance to learn more about it, share with you guys, and just delve into it a little bit deeper. But what exactly is self-discipline? I would look at it in about a couple ways, 3 to be exact. Number 1, do your actions every single day match your purpose, what you're trying to do, what your goals are? If they don't, you're not self-disciplined. Are you willing to make sacrifices for whatever you wanted to do? Because usually if it's worthwhile having, you got to give up something to obtain it. That's self-discipline, being willing to make those sacrifices. And the last one is, are you self-motivated, or do people have to drag you along? Do people have to help you over and over and over again along the way? If you're self-motivated, then you have self-discipline. You're willing to make the sacrifices. You're willing to do the actions every single day that match that purpose. So in real world, every single person, what are some examples that we should all understand of self-discipline? Well, number 1, put down eating healthy, working out. Are we willing to do something that is a little harder, like getting fruit versus getting that soda, getting that cheeseburger? Are we willing to get up early, stay up late to get that workout in today? Most people aren't. This upcoming generation, are they going to be willing to put down social media, put down their cell phones in an effort to build a better relationship with people right in front of them? All 3 of those things are things that are hard to do, because the easier thing is just well, I'm going to sleep in. The easier thing is I'm going to eat bad food. Self-discipline is about doing what's not easy, about finding what you really want and then doing whatever is required. But what does the Bible say about self-discipline? And the first verse I have up here is so similar to the personal quote, my personal favorite quote, that I don't even want to talk about it right now. I want to focus on the Proverbs 25-28 verse, and I want you to take a second and read that. A man without self-control is like a city broken into and left without walls. When I think of that, here's the image that comes to head, the analogy that comes to my mind. Imagine that you just bought something online, or just bought something that has to be assembled. When you get that box and you open it up, if you don't have the instructions, you're probably not going to build it. It's not going to happen. It doesn't matter how educated you are. It doesn't matter how good of a person you are, or how great your intentions may be. You're not going to get it built. Self-discipline in our life is the instructions. It doesn't matter what we want to do. If we don't have it, we're not going to get the job done. So self-discipline, even the Bible will tell you, it's just a really important thing for our everyday lives. So I'm shifting the focus from the Bible to, what about self-discipline in sports? Well, one thing I wanted to talk about first is lacking self-discipline. Think about when you get upset with a referee, when you get upset with a parent, a player, your own child. There's that moment where you lose all of your self-discipline and you let anger take over and you're no longer in control. And I want to show a quick video where it sees these 2 ideas kind of butting heads between being violent and showcasing self-discipline.
Thank you. Miss,
I'll be right there, sir.
Where's your headset?
she's busy right now, but it's coming.
For crying out loud, you're missing important plot points.
Ma'am?
Could you give me a second, sir?
Excuse me. Could I maybe get that headset, please?
Do not raise your voice to me, sir.
I wasn't raising my voice.
Okay, just calm down.
I am calm. I just want my headset.
Sir, our country is going through a very difficult time right now, and if you're not going to cooperate.
I don't know where a headset ties into patriotism.
Is there a problem here, sir?
I don't think so.
Can you come to the back of the plane with me so we can have a talk?
To talk about what? There's not a problem. This stewardess just keeps...
Flight attendant.
The flight attendant keeps ignoring me when I ask.
Calm down.
I am calm. What is it with you people?
You people.
Oh, now wait a minute. I don't mean you people. I mean you people.
Sir, I will not tolerate any racist behavior on the plane. This is a very difficult time for our country.
I know that. I'm not a racist. I just want to watch the movie.
I'm only going to say this one more time, sir. Calm down.
I'm calm!
So, great video, comical video of trying to be self-disciplined, and the second we lose it, something bad happens. And we've all seen an example of that in sports almost every single day. Self-discipline within coaching, self-discipline within being an athletic director. What does it look like? Well, coaches, I know firsthand, we're supposed to model behavior first and foremost. Well, if I'm getting technical fouls, if I'm angry at refs, how can I expect my players not to be? So we have to model behavior. We must have the self-discipline to do that. The other thing I think about is it is our job as educators to make sure that the young people have a chance to develop their own self-discipline. Well, if we're always directing it, if we're always forcing them to do things and we don't give them opportunities to fail or try to become more self-disciplined, we're actually doing them a disservice in the long run. So not only do we model, but can we find a way to encourage young people to be more self-disciplined earlier on? And then with athletic directors, I'm not one myself, but I've just known from working with them, they have to be so organized. That's a hard thing to do. They have so much going on to make sure everybody feels like their voice is being heard, they're being taken care of, and well represented. And then the athletic director is held to such a high moral and ethical standard. They have to every single day talk to, dress, act the absolute right way to represent the university, represent the high school, whatever it is. A lot of pressure there. You got to have self-discipline to be an AD. You have to have self-discipline to be a coach. You have to have self-discipline pretty much to do anything you want to worth of value in today's society. So how do you develop it? If it's that important, if it's the X factor, how do you develop it? This is a great little image here, but I want to focus on what I think is the most important thing. What's your why? If you have a why strong enough, I know I want to do this because, then that's what's going to power you to become self-disciplined. If you're not really sure why you want to do it, guess what? You're not going to have the self-discipline required. So once you find out your why, and you know it's a good one, just every single day you have to remember that. You have to hold yourself accountable. And by doing so, every single day you're going to have a chance to be successful because you're self-disciplined. The truth. Why is this the X factor? Will Smith has a great video. We're not going to watch it right this second, but Mr. Smith talks about the reason why it's the X factor is 99% of people are not willing to do what's required to be self-disciplined. So how do you get in that 1%? Like I mentioned earlier, it's you have self-discipline and whatever your why is, and you focus on it every single day. And this is a great video where he talks about just how important that is. Last little thing I want to get to before I go to my conclusion. Told you about that personal favorite quote from earlier. Let you read that real quick. There's two pains in life. There's the pain of discipline and the pain of disappointment. If you can handle the pain of discipline, then you'll never have to deal with the pain of disappointment. He's talking right there about something I talked about earlier in my definition. Are you willing to make sacrifices? If you are, then it's going to be worth it in the long run. Are you willing to make actions every single day that fit your purpose? If you are, it's going to be worth it. So, love this quote. I've seen it for years, and what a legendary coach. Who wouldn't want to learn from him? I want to end with a couple things. You can see him here, but I really want to focus on this last one right here. So yeah, it's important leaders lead themselves. Yeah, it's important that we work hard because few people want to do that. Few people obtain that self-discipline. But the last thing I say is self-discipline is rented, not owned. Every single day we have to approach it as starting over. Well, today I have to be self-disciplined. Doesn't matter if you were the day before or the day before that or the day before that. So self-discipline is something that every single day we rent it. We don't own it. And that's why it's so hard to achieve. And that's why if you do get it, it's going to set you up to be successful over 99% of all of your competition. I hope you enjoyed the presentation. I hope you got something from it. Thank you for taking the time to view this, listen to this, and I hope you have an amazing day.